Hello dear students, good afternoon to all of you. My name is Vidyasagar Giri and I belongs to Kushinagar itself. Currently I am a biology teacher in one of the prestigious school, PSM Public School in New Delhi. Luckily our St. Joseph principal ma'am gives me an opportunity to join as a biology teacher in our school, that is St. Joseph, which I also do that because Kushinagar is my hometown and I think everyone is loves with their family and in their hometown. So after emerging this all critical situation of coronavirus pandemic, we will meet soon in St. Joseph during the offline classes. But right now we are taking online mode. In your second chapter from your book, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. As you can see here, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So in all these chapters there is many terms, many topics we study when we go through these topics, but the important three topics are there which we read on the according to the overview, that is called pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. Okay, as you can see here that in every terms fertilization word is common. Understand what is fertilization? What is fertilization? Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. Fusion of male and female gametes, that is called fertilization. And what is the product of fertilization? That is zygote. Okay, it either be in plant or either be in animal. Okay, in animal or plant, both in cases, after the fertilization zygote formation takes place. And what is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gamete. As you can mention here, as you can see here, that I say fusion of male and female gametes. That means a plant can be capable to produce male and female gamete. In 11th class, we study that plant have 5 different categories. What is that? Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. Okay. And we know that angiosperm is the flowering plant. Angiosperm is the flowering plant. So if plants have flower, that means they can produce gamete. Apart from angiosperm, all 4 categories, Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta and Gymnosperm, do not produce their separate male gamete or female gametes. That's why in all four categories asexual reproduction takes place. Okay, asexual reproduction. The mode of reproduction is asexual in all 4 other different categories of plants. But in angiosperm, that is also called a flowering category. Flowers means they can produce male and female gametes separately. Okay, or if male and female gamete have, that means sexual reproduction takes place and fertilization takes place. After fertilization, zygote formation, then development of zygote in the embryo, formation of seed, fruit and other things takes place, as we can read according to chapter. Okay, so we are talking about flower. Okay, what is flower? Flower is nothing, just a modified shoot. Flower is just a modified shoot which arises in a axil, which arises on an axil of the okay. What is, we are talking about flower. What is flower? Flower is nothing, it is a modified condensed shoot which arises on the axil. Okay, which arises on the axil. Okay, so we draw a typical flower and we will see the different parts of that flower and what is their function of that parts in the flower. So we know that before drawing the flower, we should know that flower are of 2 types. Monoecious flower or dioecious flower, which is also called monosexual flower or bisexual flower. That means in a single flower, if male or female gamete are present simultaneously, that is bisexual flower. Or a flower in which only male gamete or either will be female gamete, that is called monosexual flower. Okay, so we will draw here bisexual flower. That means a female part, that is called pistil, as you all know that pistil. Okay, and there is anther, which is called male part of the flower. Okay, and here ovules are present. Okay, there is petals. Okay, and here sepals. This is called stalk of the flower. We will see the different type of different stages of the flower. As I say, this is the male part, means this is called anther, and this is called filament. This both will make what? Stamen. Okay, it is single stamen. That means a stamen consists of single anther and filament which attach to the end of the ovary part. Okay, but this is the single stamen. If number of stamen like this, if there is number of stamen here, that is called group of stamen, that is called androecium. That is called androecium. Group of stamen, that is called androecium, or we can say male flowering system. Okay, male flowering system. And here this is called ovary. Okay, this is style, and this is stigma. I can draw here stigma. This all three will make pistil. And as we see here, anther and filament make a stamen, and group of a stamen is called androecium. Like that, stigma, style and ovary will make pistil, and group of pistil, a flower which have many numbers of stigma are present, many numbers of pistil are present, that is called gynoecium. That is called gynoecium. In other word, we can say gynoecium is the female reproductive system in a flower. Okay, and here we can say this is called petal. Petals, this is called sepals. Petals is called Petals is called corolla, and sepals is called calyx. Okay, sepals is called calyx. When petals and sepals group together, that is called perianth. I write here perianth. Okay, perianth, that is perianth. Okay, and you can see here the anther part and the ovary part attached together with this stalk part. This part is called thalamus. This part is called thalamus. Okay, this the thick part is will called receptacle, and this as we know, this is called stalk. Stalk means dandi. In Hindi, stalk means dandi, flower ki dandi. Okay, So these are the parts of the flower. As you can see here, the major four different parts of the flower, that is called androecium, gynoecium, calyx and corolla. And calyx and corolla group together, that is called perianth. Okay, the flower is consist four different major part, or that is called also floral appendages, and is its other name is whorl. Okay, whorl, that is called whorls, WHORLS, that is called whorls. यानी कि four different whorls, or you can say four different floral appendages, or you can say four different floral parts. समझ आई बात? The androecium, gynoecium, calyx and corolla, these are the four different floral appendages. So what is the role of their different appendages? Okay, so we will start from this androecium. As we know that androecium is the male reproductive system of a flower, as I told earlier. So anther, what is the role of anther? Anther help in produce pollen grain, and pollen grain consist male gamete that will fuse with female gamete. Okay, and what is the role of that filament? Filament help in stand this anther with the help of attaching with this end of this ovary. Okay, it provide a stand. It provide a stand to expose this anther to the stigma in same flower or in other flower. As we know that when anther matures, pollen grain descends out, okay, burst out from the anther and pollinate with attaching with the stigma of same flower or another flower, that is called self pollination and cross pollination. So filament helps in stand this anther and help in exposure with other stigma or self stigma with pollen grains. Okay, that is the role of anther and filament. What is the role of pistil and different part of this? So as we know that stigma is the stage, or it will also act as a receptory site for the pollen grain. Ultimately pollen grain should be reaching to ovule, but there is the different ways through which they can travel and reach to ovule. So the primary gate, we can say that primary platform will provided by this stigma. When pollen grain mature and comes out with the from the anther, it will land on a stigma. And further germination of pollen tube and goes to this way route and fertilize with ovule egg cell. Okay. What is the role of style? The role of style as it is as the role of filament. Okay. Style is help in standing out that, provide a standing out that stigma. Okay. And what is the role of ovary? As we know that ovary consists ovule. In ovule there is the female gametes are present, that is called egg cell or polar nuclei. We will study in detail when we chapters proceed further. Okay. So what is the role of gynoecium? Is it done? What is the role of androecium? It is done. What is the role of calyx? As we can see here, calyx is the, we can say, when flower developed, calyx is the outermost layer. Okay. At a time when flower developed, so what is the role of calyx and what is the role of corolla? The role of calyx is it provides a outermost protecting layer of the flower. Okay, this is outermost protecting layer of the flower. Before the maturation of the flower, calyx covered all flower. When flower is mature and comes out, calyx remain in the bottom of the flower, and ultimately we can see that calyx provide a outermost protective layer to the flower. Okay, and we can see here there is different groups: androecium, gynoecium, calyx and corolla. These are the groups. Okay, so if there is one sepal, that is we can directly call it sepal. There is group of sepal that is called calyx. Or if we talk about in reverse, that means what is calyx? Calyx consists group of sepals, and the single unit of calyx is called sepal, we can say. Okay, what is corolla? Corolla is the group of petals, and the single unit of corolla is petal. Okay, group of petals is called corolla. Okay, corolla. Okay, so what is the role of that petals? We can see here flowers are different type of color, fragrant, okay, attractive and bright colors are flower in there in our nature. What is the role of that? The role of that is attraction, the pollen agent. What is the you know that what is the different types of pollinating agent? Insect, animal, wind, water. Okay, so these petals are colored in nature, fragrant in nature, and different shapes in nature, which helps in attraction of pollinating agents, which help in the pollination of that flower. These are the different roles of that flower. Okay, parts of the flower, as you can see here. And there is the some there is another organ in the flower, that is ovule. This is called ovule. What is the role of ovule? Okay, let make single ovule. Okay, what is the role of ovule? What is the role of ovule? There is the multiple ovule can present in a single fruit. We will study further, but right now here we will take a single ovule in a single fruit. Okay, what is the example? Mango. Okay, mango have a single seed, but papaya has number of seeds. Okay, so we will study why this is happen. So here we take example of mango in a single seed. This is ovule. Ovule means which consists female gametophyte or female gamete, that is called egg or polar nuclei. In ovule, in a typical ovule, if we draw here, 8 cells are present. 8 cells. 3 antipodal cells, 2 nuclei cells, 2 synergid cells, and 1 egg cell. That is called 8 cell. But polar nuclei fuse together and act as a single cell, but its nucleus remains 2. Okay, that is called 7-celled and 8 nuclei structure. समझ आई बात? 7 cell and 8 nuclei structure for development of ovule is called, okay, 7 cell and 8 nuclei. We will also see that when this is the part of megasporangium. We will also see that in megasporangium how megasporangium develop, which cell division involved in that, and how 7 cell and 8 nuclei formed, and what is that different function of this antipodal cells, polar nuclei cell, egg cell or synergid cell. Okay, we will study in megasporogenesis. Right now we are taking overview of this flower. So these three are remaining for what is the role of thalamus. What is the role of this thalamus? Thalamus provide a site on which all male parts, this ovary female parts, this stalk and this calyx, sepals all attached together. This site is the attaching for all these 4 different parts. That is called thalamus. Is the site from where all these 4 floral parts are attached together. Okay, but in some fruit we can say this thalamus developed as a fruit. Okay, when what is the typical example? You will surprise when I taking an example, that is called apple. Apple is the fruit which developed by this thalamus. But in normal cases, fruit developed by ovary, fruit developed by ovary, but apple is thalamus. The edible part of the apple is called thalamus. But when we talk about true fruits, in true fruits the edible part should be developed by ovary. That is called true fruit. But the fruit which are the edible part which does not develop by ovary, which are developed by other part of the flower, some developed by thalamus, some developed by pericarp, endosperm. Okay, that is called false fruit. Okay, false fruit. The apple is false fruit which developed by this thalamus. Understand? Now second is receptacle. Receptacle is what? Receptacle is clump like structure which take holds all this flower. Okay, clumps like structure, thick structure. When we take a rose, okay, and emerge out all these parts, okay, just break down all this part. You can see here, you can see in the last you will remain only this type of structure. Okay, this is called thalamus, this is called stalk. Okay, the thalamus is, it consists all this floral part grouped together. Okay, that is called receptacle. That's why its name recept karna. It means receive karna. Okay, and what is stalk? Stalk is dandi, yani flower. Flower attached with one stem. This is stem. Stem से flower attached है. That means it should be a way to attach this stem. That is called stalk. That is called stalk. Okay, spelling is wrong here. Okay, stalk, and flower develop here. Okay, you can see here. So it is clear what I say. In your book there is some questions in between the concept. There is, what is the different types of flower which used in ornamental way, cultural. What is the example of the flower which used in a social or cultural values, like jasmine, rose, lotus, okay, and orchids. These are the examples of social and cultural, used in a social or cultural flower. Understand? So these are okay. One more important terms I forgot this, perianth. Okay, we can see that sepal group, when sepal and petal group together, that is called perianth. What is the role of perianth? Why we group together sepal and petal? Because we can see in some flowers sepals and petals are very close together, and in that condition it is called perianth structure. Okay, that is called perianth. When we does not differentiate between sepal and petal, in that condition it is called perianth structure. Okay, so from today it is your time is over now, over out now. So we will start further in your next class. So good luck, and gives feedback also. It is understandable or not, or it's my technique is, should I choose different technique to make understandable to you or not? Okay, give some feedback also. Okay, good luck, bye.